So I'll call this board meeting to session to order. Stand for the pledge, please. Nick, are you putting a flag up?
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, are there any changes to the agenda that anyone has? And I apologize, hold on, let me move things here so. I can see everyone that.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, I think I can see all of our board members now. Okay, so was there any changes? No? Okay, wonderful. Public comments.
Yeah, we just have the one person. So I guess what we can do is just offer her a chance to speak.
Okay.
So yeah, and if you would like to speak, either feel free to raise your hand where you can be publicly acknowledged, or feel free to type something into the chat panel. And if you do that, whatever you put in there will record as an official part of the record.
Okay.
All right, I'm not seeing anything from her right now.
Okay. So let's move on then to the consent agenda. I need a motion for the consent.
We accept the consent agenda.
Thank you, Laurel.
I'll second, Marcia.
Heidi, thank you.
I have a question.
Go, Charlie.
This is discussion. Since we have some requests for waivers, should we also grant the waivers when we approve the consent agenda?
I move we accept the consent agenda, granting all requested waivers.
Thank you, Laurel.
Second.
Thank you, Charlie. All right, so we have the motion that we accept the consent agenda along with all the requests for waivers. Roll call vote. Charlie?
Aye.
Thank you. Heidi?
Aye.
Thank you. Laurel?
Aye.
Thank you. Patty? Patty's frozen for me, and she's also muted. So I'll go to John.
Yes.
Thank you. I say yes. And Patty?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That passes. Let's see, how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 0. All right, so we have a discussion on the hiring authority. The request was to give Ruben authority over the next week or two, that if something comes up, a hiring, that we give him the authority for those 2 weeks to do that. So Ruben, do you want to talk more to that?
Yeah. So, since my time here, we've chosen not to do that, but we've had meetings if we've needed to. I would say that in this case right here, like for instance today with the 4 hires that we have, it's important that we get them signed up, fingerprinted, and ready to go for the start of the school year as much as possible. So we have less impact at the beginning of the year. And right now, all these people fit that time frame of being able to, make sure that they can start at the beginning. So, in the week or two to come, maybe even today, I know there were some interviews today. I don't know. I haven't checked my email to see if anyone's being forwarded on to me. But the likelihood is that we will be filling another 2 possibly 3 positions. I'm looking at, for instance, those retirements right there. And so those are being actively searched for. I know we have candidates already kind of in the, that need to be interviewed and so forth. So while, you know, either hiring authority or just knowing that we can get a quorum together very quickly is the key. I know that we're trying not to have so many meetings. It does take a lot of time to have these meetings, but you know, I would prefer to have the hiring authority. It would be my preference because I think it saves time, and certainly let the board know, you know, where we're going, and to keep on hiring in fiscally as fiscally responsible ways as we possibly can moving forward, but just mainly for the purpose of the expediting the process.
So,
And it's for these 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, you know, to finish out these hirings. Yeah.
so I have a question for the superintendent. I realize these are unprecedented times, and I understand that familiar with the issues involved. I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better for the board to approve hiring authority until the board meeting on October 5th, and then at that point in time determine whether we need to extend it or not. I don't think that in 2 weeks we don't have a board meeting in 2 weeks, and I would not want to be back in a situation where we're you know, reconvening the board all the time. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm just wondering if that would work.
So you're saying instead of doing it for the next 2 weeks, do it up through the end of September?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know what's going to happen based on impact bargaining, and we may have a situation where we have to respond very quickly. And we don't need, I wouldn't want to go to another board meeting or call a special board meeting to reauthorize hiring. So what I'm saying is I think that October 5th would be long enough, and if we needed to extend it beyond that, we could do it at that board meeting.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Other people want to chime in?
Well, we have a meeting in 1 week, right?
We have a meeting on the 31st.
Yeah, I mean, Laurel, you know, if we have someone who comes in on like Friday or Saturday, you know, putting them on a Monday board meeting certainly is not an issue. Like I've been doing my interviews on Saturdays.
Why don't we extend the hiring authority at the meeting on the 31st?
Well, the only reason is because if we, for instance, if I interview someone tomorrow and we can make a movement, having those 5 days of getting them onboarding is essential right now.
Because of all the HR processes.
It's the HR process, yeah.
I don't have a problem with it so long as it's like, you know, these are like kind positions and it's not a drastic change in role or the job descriptions are clear. And so, you know, as long as it's not a structural change, I'm perfectly comfortable with the proposal that Charlie has made.
All right, thanks, Patty.
I agree. It makes sense.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. John, thoughts?
So I guess I would just ask that, you know, that Ruben extend the courtesy of sending us the blue sheets, just so we know, you know, what he's done.
That's great. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yes, we just want to make sure that then there's not a discussion that ensues. That's because then it becomes a proxy meeting and that kind of thing. So.
We could always create a new category on the school board meeting agendas just to say like receipt of and say nominations or something to that effect.
So you mean after the fact, right?
Okay.
So I guess I was suggesting that
So,
maybe
yeah, that we have the information.
Yeah, I think that as the information comes in, I can forward information so that you're in the know. I think that makes sense. And honestly would be easier than trying to remember a week or two down what I have to include.
good.
As long as we're not having dialogue, that's what I think Marcia was saying.
Right.
That's what I referenced, yeah. Okay. So, Laurel, do you have more?
Nope.
Okay. So, can we get a motion then?
I'll make a motion that we delegate hiring authority to the superintendent from now through the board meeting on October 5th.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. And Patty, you second it? Thank you. And I'll do a roll call vote, starting with John.
Aye.
Thank you. Patty?
Aye.
Thank you. Heidi?
Aye.
Thank you, Laurel.
Aye.
Thank you, Laurel. And Charlie?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And I say aye. So that passes 600. Anything for board matters?
Yes. Going forward, where will our school
Okay.
board meetings be, please?
I didn't hear that piece.
Going forward, where will our school board meetings be, please?
Or the school board. The Pratt, right? We're going to do the Pratt because we can set that up.
Yeah, the Pratt has the easiest spot to set up. We may have to, I'm in conversations with John, the facilities manager, just to see if there shouldn't be any conflicts, but just making sure that there's no, because clubs are supposed to be out by 4:30. We're not supposed to have any sort of extracurriculars. The only thing I could think of would be, sports when we, get closer to the winter season. We may have to think of something, but at least for now, the Pratt is going to offer us the most space for the public. We can fit, I believe, either 50 or 60 members of the public in addition to the board. And Mike Cotton and I tomorrow have an appointment
At
to,
a safe distance.
yeah. Mike Cotton and I have an appointment tomorrow to go over the sound system again and to see if there are some solutions that we can come up with to make sure that the sound's adequate for both the people in the audience and the people digitally. So.
Do we need that big a space?
Well, what we had also talked about was using the presentation room.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, so either one of those locations, if they're open, I agree with Laurel's question. I don't know as though we need all that space, and
it's a lot of work to set that up for
It's
sure.
a lot of work.
Well, but it also
Flooring that has to go down, et cetera.
yeah. So, that would be preferable.
And our custodians have better things to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. So, Nick, just make sure when you set out the agenda that we have the place.
Yep.
And we should probably talk about the capacity
and-
that exists.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing will just be to measure that space and to see how we could adequately use it, both to have the board in there, potentially members of the public. The only reason why I had recommended the gym as a setting is just based on that room being as long as it is, just making sure we can have enough space for people, and just the solution of what if we get more than the room allows for.
Well, one of the things we can do is in our note about the meeting being held digitally, we can say those people who are unable to attend via Zoom or call in via telephone, which is a state requirement, will provide some seats available at this location.
Yeah.
First come, first serve.
Right. There
Well,
was
hopefully we're not
just,
going, hopefully we're not going to get an overflow.
Right.
Yeah, I have a similar, what's up on the agenda right now is just for the digital meeting. There's an additional sentence or two that I've been putting on the other agendas. I'm happy to, change it up and make it even more, explicit in what we're, saying. So that's definitely something I can change around for the next meeting.
right.
Because I think the last meeting we had, what, how many people did we have in the last meeting? We had 2 in the audience.
We had 2 in the audience, and we had about, at our height, I think a little over 100 people on the digital side.
Yeah. So,
All right.
In general, I'm working on this with Mike and others just to see if this can be a permanent, how we can make this the most permanent solution, just because this is something in our communication plan to have ready for this budget season. So broader conversations are being had about how to make this, work most efficiently.
Nick, that's great to hear, and I encourage you in that direction. I know it's you guys did a lot of work to set up those speakers last time, and I know there was a glitch, but keep working at it. And it would be really nice if people who are remote, if we could see them on a large screen. I don't know if that's feasible, but if we could project them, let's say on a screen, that way the people in the audience as well as us, we could see who was talking.
So based on how the webinar is set up, it's different than a meeting. And in the way that we're differentiating the board as panelists compared to attendees, I'll look into it. I don't know if there's a way to do that, because I think the idea is that you're kind of broadcasting what you're doing and people are kind of tuning in almost like it's a television, program, rather than kind of a, they can
Interactive.
obviously call in and they can do things, but I don't know if there's as much functionality to get them to be seen.
I'm just seeing flashes of Hunger Games. I don't know.
I'm not familiar enough with Hunger Games to comment on that, but I could understand why there's going to be limitations on that. It may or may not be possible, but I think that potentially, there is an application there in terms of our remote teaching too. And I know Ruben mentioned earlier that there are probably some legal issues with having a class where some people are remote and some people are not. Understandable, but still it would be nice to understand how the technology could work flexibly and agile, anyway, it'd be worth looking into.
Yeah, I'll certainly look into it and see what we can do.
Thank you.
Any other board matters?
I have something I just wanted to bring up. I just somewhat of a question, but the reopening guidelines for the middle school and high school include layouts of the buildings, and I have a memory of a conversation or some story about how those are not intended to go public, not because of COVID, but because of safety reasons, that people knowing the layouts of the building, and I'm surprised their security person signed off on it from a public standpoint. So what we might be wanting, I understand trying to explain where the bathrooms are, but I'm not sure we want to hand out layouts of the school with all the classrooms from a security standpoint. So could we have a check on that, or is that ringing a bell to anyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Patty.
Well, it's scary. It's scary. It's these things. So it's just 2 pages. If we can accomplish that in another way, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I can bring that note up to the folks that sent those documents to me. Again, the ones that we gave tonight are rough drafts, and I was planning on telling the people that sent them out just to say between this time and next time, if there's any major, anything other than like grammatical changes, if we could just have kind of like a documentation of what those changes are, so that you guys have a quicker kind of look into what some of the changes are. But certainly can look into the what you just said.
Thank you.
So to Patty's point, Nick, we have a link right now to those reopening guidebooks?
Mhm.
Okay, do we need to have that link live until we know whether we want that information out?
We can make sure that these are unlinked.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll unlink them when we're done with the meeting.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
I move we adjourn.
All right, Laurel, thank you.
Second.
Patty, thank you. And with that, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.